They love her when she is submissive, when she is sensual, when she is fine. But they hate her when she expresses what is on the feminine mind.
Blessings, everyone, and good afternoon. You know, I came into the forest to have a chat, and I thought that I had charged my phone. But when I reached in the forest, 16% on the battery. I was like, how did that even happen? And I realized I probably did put the charger in the phone, but it's also very likely that the charger wasn't connected to the plug. And so I literally have 16% worth of time. Okay, I've got 16% worth of time. I don't know how much time that is, but I'm sure it's not much, but it's going to have to be sufficient, right? So I hope everyone's okay as you come on the live. This is your girl, Linnea. I'm walking with Wisdom and Barney, okay? And I wanted to just explain what narcissism is in the most simplest way that I can, because it's quite a layered and extensive subject, but I'd like to simplify it, and then if it's necessary, I can come back and elaborate. So this is following the conversation I was having yesterday about how women are genetically supreme on this planet. And I'm thankful for those of you who listened with an open mind and an open heart and didn't take offense, because I am not here to attack anybody. And even if women are biologically supreme, that doesn't mean that men don't have their value and their reason, their divine reason for being here, you know? We're all here in it together. So who is the narcissist? The narcissist is someone who doesn't have the capacity to love others. They are unable to love others. They are unable to have empathy for other people. Consequently, narcissism is an antisocial personality disorder, because the narcissist is emotionally antisocial. Do you understand? That doesn't mean that a narcissist isn't someone who socializes a lot. They may interact with a lot of people, because you have overt narcissism and you have covert narcissism. But ultimately, a narcissist is someone who would love to speak to you about their life, their goals, their problems, their dreams, their woes, but they don't care about yours. A narcissist is someone who wants you to support what they're doing, for you to see them as valuable, but they don't want to support you and they don't see you as valuable. One of the things that narcissists do, because they don't have a true sense of self, they mirror the behavior of other people. So oftentimes when you meet a narcissist, you think this is who they are, but ultimately what you're meeting is either a mirror of yourself or a mirror of someone the narcissist has interacted with previously. Because where there is this inability to love, where there is this inability to have empathy, what's really happening is at the core of the narcissist, there is nothing there. So when people fall in love with narcissists and then later on they're like, but that person is completely different. The image that you met, the person you thought you fell in love with, never even existed. And that's the reason why a narcissistic relationship is a painful, excruciating, traumatic experience for normal people, for people who are neurally average, for people who do have the ability to love, for people who do have the ability to care about other people. If they find themselves in a relationship with a narcissist, it can be one of the most traumatic experiences they could ever have. What narcissists do is that they select people around them to use as fuel for their engine. Because a narcissist doesn't have a true core, doesn't have a true sense of self, doesn't have a true internal compass, they require the energy of other people to sustain them, unlike a neurally average person who can sustain their own selves. Do you understand? So narcissists not only lack empathy, they feast upon the unconscious around them. They use them as fuel. And if you have ever been selected, right, to be the fuel for a narcissist, you may have experienced this love bombing where they're offering you lots of things, or they're showing you lots of affection. They're getting you to think that they're really into you. But after a while, you'll find that when you interact with this narcissist, you are drained. Your energy is low. And then the same things that the narcissist seem to admire about you, the qualities that pulled them into you, they will start to attack you for those same qualities. So as you can see, it's not just a one sentence thing like, a narcissist just doesn't have love. No, it's actually quite a nuanced thing. There are many layers to it. And having the ability to identify narcissism is very, very helpful in this day and time, because narcissism is not rare. I don't know if it's 1 in 5 people, if it's 1 in 7. I can get the stats and then put it underneath this video after. But narcissism is not rare. And I know several male and female narcissists. And the majority of men who are raised in a patriarchal world to feel that they are entitled to women without earning them, essentially, they develop narcissism as a result of the conditioning around their manhood. Someone can be born a narcissist. You can see it in your natal chart if you're a born narcissist. But someone can also become a narcissist through ongoing childhood trauma, through exposure to narcissistic parents. There are many ways. And oftentimes, if you date a narcissist, you're going to have to get a little bit narcissistic to be able to leave. But the bottom line is, narcissism is a disorder. It's not a blessing. When you look into the world of the corporate world, the people who run massive conglomerates, wherever there is a lot of power to be at hand, politics, you will find a lot of narcissists. These are people who want to be powerful. They want to be in charge of other people. They want to be seen. They want to be visible, but for all the wrong reasons, because they don't have empathy. If you are around someone who doesn't have empathy, you will often feel as if you're in a one-sided connection. I have experienced this with males and females. I have people in my family who are born narcissists. I also know people who are born narcissists. And I know people who developed narcissism as a result of childhood trauma, etc. Now, narcissism is not to be confused with narcissistic tendencies. Humans generally have a lot of narcissistic tendencies that are connected to their egos and their ability to sustain themselves. But narcissism... Oi! Stop that. Narcissism, as I said, it's a psychological imbalance. And what is happening is the person doesn't have a true self. So they create an illusion, essentially, of who they are by mirroring the behaviors of those around them. They create an identity, and through that identity, they develop connections with other people. Now, everybody that the narcissist is connected to is not going to be fuel. No. You could have a friend that's a narcissist and they don't look to you to be fuel. their fuel might be their partner. Their fuel might be one of their children. Do you see what I mean? They don't look at everybody as fuel. They zoom in onto specific people, and their intention with that person is to control that person, is to use that person to gain more behaviors to mirror, and also to essentially exert some type of negative influence over the person that will lead to that person having a lower self-esteem than what they did when they met them. So when you date a narcissist, unless you become 100% clear that the person is a narcissist and you're then able to think your way out of the relationship, you usually leave the relationship a lot worse off than you entered it. This is the reason why knowing about these conditions is important for new, really average people, because essentially narcissists are people that conscious people who are conscious of this thing, we seek to avoid. Bunny! Good boy. We seek to avoid narcissists. Now, even on my dog walk, right, there are two ladies that I have identified are definitely narcissists. When I speak to them, I just can't wait for the conversation to end. They always have a problem. They always make themselves out to be a victim in one way or the other. It's always, every time. And essentially, what they're doing when they're interacting with me is they're trying to work out if I am willing to be fuel. Do you understand? And so the way how I interact with them, I don't say to them, look, I know you're narcissistic, piss off. What I do is I refuse to become fuel. I ignore a lot of their complaints. I don't make time and space for it. I will be civil because that's who I am. You know, hi, you're right. But the minute they start going into victim mode and they're special because of this or they're special because of that, I tend to just act very nonchalant, like I don't care, because I don't. But the truth is, what I'm doing is I'm protecting myself from that narcissist hooking their claws into my psyche. And I'm very conscious of what is happening, right? But I don't think, let me check the battery. I don't think that while this is happening, that I don't think those narcissists know that I know. And also, just so you know, most narcissists don't have a clue that they're a narcissist. They will always think it's someone else. But you have high functioning narcissists who are totally aware of the fact that they're narcissists. So that's a scientific explanation for it. But if we were to go into other areas of life, you might think, well, what's the religious explanation for someone who has no soul, someone who has no center, someone who can only feast upon others? If it was religion, what would you call a being like that? Aha! If you understand, if it was religion, what would you call someone like that? Now, I'm not religious, so I'm just going to come to you from this narcissistic space, which is a scientific word. It is speaking about mental health. It's speaking about capacity. But I would like you to consider before my next live stream, if this was a religious conversation, given the description of behavior that I've just explained, a very short description, albeit, how would you define a narcissist through the lens of spirituality or religion? And on that note, I've got 2% left. Okay, that was, I want to say so much more. So I think I'm going to have to do this justice and find a way to have this conversation. But I do know that what I've said so far, a lot of you can listen to that and assess it for yourself and see, do you know any narcissists? Are you one? Do you understand? Do you have a sense of self? Or do you rely on other people to inform you about your identity? Do you give love and empathy to other people? Or do you suck these things out of other people without the ability to reciprocate? Bomba. Claire says, my definition is a demon. Bomba. Again, Frederick, maybe a demon. Well, all I'm saying is, I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it, and I'm so glad that you guys are able to think about it for yourselves. But nobody can say Linnea is on the internet calling narcissist demon. That man is a narcissist. That's probably why he stopped. His spirit probably heard me call his name. Come, Barney, don't ramp with me. You're not to mix up with everybody in life. Those people that beat their partners up and abuse their children, do those people have a sense of self? Do they have a center? Or are they vacuous beings here causing destruction on the planet? Most of them are narcissists, and we have to know it. I want you guys to be able to identify it. And so the next time I come live, when I have a full battery, I will be sure to create a list, a 10-point list, how to identify if someone is a narcissist. I love you all so much. I want you to take good care of yourselves. I'm so sorry that I didn't get the full charge, but I feel like we got somewhere today, right? We made some progress, right? Thank you all so much for your responses. Please continue to comment below if you've ever experienced someone like this. And look out for the next time. I'm going to come live soon. I'm not ready to do a jam yet, but I am ready to talk. Okay? And I'm going to be putting these talks over on the Feminine Mind on YouTube as well. All right? Protect yourselves. Get to know yourselves. And have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful afternoon wherever you are on the planet. Bless!